That was a perfect one.
That was
Welcome.
a nice one. Welcome.
Welcome to the
Welcome.
Unhinged BookCast, a podcast hosted by Jess and LJ, who love all things fantasy books. I'm LJ.
And I'm Jess, and we're happy to have you back again.
Whether we're deep diving into thoughts and theories or just writing the vibes, we love discussing our current reads with each other and now with all of you.
Tonight we are reading Book 3 in the Blood and Ash series by Jennifer Armentrout, chapters 17 through 34 of The Crown of Gilded Bones. This will be another spoiler-free series as long as you've read through our current reading section.
Speaking of which, now you can discuss with us spoiler-free chapter by chapter in our club on the Fable app.
Also, please do all the things liking, following, and subscribing on all of our platforms.
These are romantic fantasy books that are intended for adults. We will be talking about war, gore, and no pants dances.
So this is your content warning. Our discussions are not suitable for those little listening ears. We hope you are all reading along with us, and we can't wait to hear your thoughts and theories as well.
Grab a seat and grab a drink, maybe even some snackies, and let's get into it.
Let's get into it.
Chapter 17.
Okay, so made me laugh. Go ahead. Did you want to start?
You go ahead.
I was gonna text you last week as soon as I started reading because this chapter literally starts off with Willa Collins. We learn about Miss Willa Collins, and Leslie's been saying from the beginning, she's gonna come back. This is gonna mean something.
I was so excited. It wasn't even funny. Because you started before me. I had a 13-year-old have a birthday, and so I only finished in past like 24 hours this chapter chunk. But I was like, it's Willa Collins, and she didn't say anything to me. And like we learned later that she's like probably still alive, and she's on the thing or whatever.
Their council, they're like royal council or whatever.
My drink just spilled over my cup, so it's cool. It's fine, but we're gonna keep going. But just
okay.
Don't worry about the noise in the background. But yes, I was so excited.
I literally had a text message typed out to send to you, like, oh my goodness, you've got to start at least this chapter. But then I was like, no, I'm going to let her be excited about it.
And I had like the weirdest thought, and I'm going to share it because it's a weird thought and it's kind of makes things awkward later. But like,
okay.
You know how they were saying like her mom would have to be somebody like really, really old too?
Oh, yeah. Yes.
What if it's Willa Collins?
You keep saying that she's connected to her somehow. I mean, like,
she is. I can tell you she is. I don't know how, but there's something.
Yes,
there's something.
And
so I'm like, what if that's her real freaking mama? And she
Hmm.
really was a stolen baby. And I have more evidence of that this week. So
Yep.
it actually happens. Not like I'm excited about stolen babies, but it looks like it's actually gonna happen this time. But
let's see.
But
and then we meet Kira also.
We don't meet her yet, but we hear what her name is. Because this is when Jasper's in their room talking to them.
Right. Visiting with Cass leaves, and then it's just Kieran and Poppy talking after this.
Yeah. So Kieran is left to babysit because Castiel's daddy's there and he wants to talk to him alone, of course. And so Kieran's playing babysitter. And he tells her about like Nikos and that he could shift into a big white wolf. The wolves were there before there was ever like an Atlanteans or whatever. And then and like also that not only would they'd be like statues and stuff like that, he mentions, but like sometimes if the wolf was depicted next to him, that's like his relationship with the wolven, right? But if it's a big white wolf behind Nitos, whatever, I will get this right eventually. We are going to be tongue-tied again tonight. That was like his wolven form because he could also shift into a big white wolf. And I was like, this is so cool.
I know.
But I think that has something to do with it. But then Kieran's also telling her about like how there's some like damaging of crops going on, some vandalizing of businesses. So I was like, yes, we have a new mystery to solve. Let's figure this out here. And so then they're like sitting there on the bed, they're talking or whatever. They're eating cheese and strawberries or something like that. And they talk about how she thought she spoke into his mind or he spoke into her mind, something like that. And so they try it and they can do it.
So cool.
And they're talking about Kieran's imprints or whatever. And he feels like cedar or whatever to her. And
Yeah.
Delano is like spring. So I thought
Yes.
that was interesting. But
Yes.
yes, you called it. Believe it or not, they can. There is mind speaking, but
Yes.
it's not with Castile,
No,
but it's
unfortunately.
with
But
Kieran. And
I
I
kind of like
feel like
this
that's
though.
bitter. I like this
I
better.
know. I do too. Like all the other books you read, like there's mind speak between the two like mated lovers, but not the best friend side character. That part's pretty cool.
Yeah. Oh, I
Um,
love it. What'd
and
you
then
write?
I just had two more little thoughts here. One thing back to we are talking about Niktos with the when he created the first woven and all that stuff. Um, he Kieran like makes a point of letting her know that he didn't force them, which I thought that was kind
Mhm.
of cool. Like he didn't force the woven
He
into
gave them the
service.
option.
It
Yeah.
gave them the option. And then
And it
that
wasn't into
also,
service, it was in a partnership,
right, exactly. Yep, they're
which I
not in
loved. Yeah.
service. They're equal with them.
Mm-hmm.
Which is, yeah, I think why the statues like when the wolf was next to him and depicted next to him, it's an equality thing,
Yep.
not that he's over them. And then that also is kind of what made Poppy think to try the mind speak thing because Kieran was skeptical and she's like, well, the only way, think about it, the only way that Niktos could have spoken to the wolves before they ever had a human form had to have been into their minds. So let's try it.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah. Chapter 18.
yep.
So this is still babysitter time with Kieran.
Mhm.
And it's dark outside and there's some noises going on outside. So they go outside because he wants her to stay, but she's like, no. And he's like, Cass is gonna kill me. And she's like, well, he
They
knows
have this
better.
little argument.
And I love how later he's like, I told her.
Yeah, and she's like, we need to talk about this.
But so there's these dudes. I assume they were shirtless dudes with dissenter masks, is what I
Yeah,
pictured. They're like dead inside or whatever.
like paper
Except,
white skin, appeared
yeah,
like they had no blood in them. Poppy can't read any emotion off of them or anything like that.
and except for one.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like talking to her, and he has those bonds or whatever, the bone bonds.
Yep. The
And
bones and roots.
yeah. And he calls her the maiden, the blessed one, the chosen, the harbinger, the bringer of death and destruction. Why was
Yep.
that hard? I don't know. But so then they kind of have like, he's like, yeah, you're dead. Like you're supposed to be dead.
Mm-hmm.
And we're gonna make sure that happens. And then he says something that like sparks something in her, right? He says, you, the one for he says, you, the one foretold in the bones, should have never survived that night in Lockswood.
Mm-hmm.
And Lockswood is apparently the town where her parents died. And like nobody's spoken of Lockswood in a very long time. And so she's like, wait, what the hell?
Yep.
Um, and then so like fight breaks out, right? These creatures, whatever, are just shooting geysers of like this dark purplish blood, and it smells
Mm-hmm.
bad.
Mm-hmm. Well, it
I
smells
think,
like old lilacs.
yeah, stale lilacs.
Mm-hmm.
And so my thought was the caves have lilacs, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like to summon these things, you have to have like special dirt, right?
It has to be dirt from Elysium, from the ground
Yeah.
of the gods. Mm-hmm.
And now we know that the caves and the tunnels are what can get you there. So
Which
who
you
knows
called
about
that
those
too.
tunnels? Yeah. And so are we getting the dirt from these like caves and stuff that have these lilacs?
Oh, I didn't think about that.
And that's
I
why they
thought,
smell like lilacs.
hmm,
So are we going to find out that this mysterious man is one of the gods
hmm,
or one of the deities or something that's over in the land of the
maybe,
gods? I don't know.
maybe.
But that was just like a thought I had.
That's a good thought
Uh,
because only those with the blood of the gods in them are even allowed into Elysium, and that's
yeah.
only if they know how to get there.
Yep. Yep.
So he couldn't have created all these things without being able to
Mhm.
get there.
Being
Yeah.
able to get there in
Mm-hmm.
theory. in theory. But these other creatures, not this one guy, not the one guy, but I believe he had a silver mask and the rest had bronze masks. But they're grims, just slits for eyes. What?
I think it's
Gurms?
Gurms.
I call them grims.
Gyrm, Gurm.
I'm gonna call them grims.
Okay.
Because it's in my head now.
Okay.
But anyway, those things, they just have slits for eyes and like no face. Sounds creepy as shit.
Super creepy.
And these are not dissenters. They were the first to wear the mask, and they were seen as, or they are known as the unseen, which we find out from King Daddy, whatever his name is. Valen. Yeah. So
okay, so chapter 19, so we meet one new character. So her name is Hisa Famar, and she's the commander of the Crown Guard. She's been around for a very long time. She's also a part of this royal council that we learn about in a little bit.
Oh yeah.
But then they're having like this like team recap. So it's King Valen, Jasper, Poppy, Cass, Kieran. I think that's it. Are all there, and they're just talking about what just happened. So she kind of ends up telling Valen about one of her nightmares that she had.
Well, see, I thought this was because she was telling Valen about Lockswood, how she mentions Lockswood.
Yes,
and
because
he
she's
like sparks his interest as well.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. And then she's telling him just all about what she remembers so far from that, the nightmares that she's had, the little bits of memory that she's had leading up to it. Because she realized before, which they talk about before in one of our last episodes, how Alistair's the man that her father is talking to. And she's telling Valen about this. They know Alistair was there and involved. But then there's this other man, which we will talk about. I have some notes on this other guy later, but in this little recap that they're having, there's supposedly this other guy that's clothed in dark clothing, and there's Craven, and they're like, Valen's like, well, no one can control the Craven, but it keeps being said that they were brought there by somebody. So in this chapter, I believe, is when Valen is like, maybe it was this dark one. Like he seems like he knows something about this man.
Yeah.
Or whatever. That's the best recap I can give about that little portion.
Yeah.
But then also I have a quick little note, because Valen's telling her about the unseen, about what they just fought, what's going on, like what is this all about? And he said they're supposed to have died out a long time ago, like long before the War of Two Kings.
Yeah.
And he says until lately. So he kind of knew that they were around, but hadn't said anything yet. Yeah. He explains the unseen to her, and he says that this is from the book. It says, the unseen were an ancient brotherhood that originated at least 1,000 years ago or so, after several generations of Atlanteans were born and other bloodlines took root. Roughly around the time he drew in a deep breath. Around the time the deities began to interact more with the mortals who lived in the lands far from Atlantea's original borders. The ancients began fearing that the Atlanteans and the other bloodlines were not entirely supportive of their decisions regarding mortals. She asks, what kind of decisions were they making? He says the deities wanted to bring all the lands, the seas, and the islands together under one kingdom. That didn't sound all that bad, she thinks. Oops, sorry. He says it didn't matter that some of those lands already had rulers. They believed that they could improve the lives of others as they did with the lands just beyond the Skotos Mountains that had already been occupied by mortals. Many Atlanteans and other bloodlines didn't agree with them, believing it was best to keep focus and energy on Atlantean lives. The deities feared there would be an uprising, so they created the Unseen to serve as a network of spies and soldiers designed to crush any type of rebellion before it started. That was done by keeping the Unseen members' identities hidden. That way they could move undetected among the people of Atlantia like spies. And when it came time for them to be seen and heard, they wore masks carved to resemble the woven. So they basically have the same ideologies as Alistair and this brotherhood.
Yeah.
And so yeah, she's explaining that to him.
But they've been around for a long ass
A
time.
very, very long time. And they thought that they were gone.
Yeah.
But they're not.
But there's apparently at least one that is summoning these things from a different realm.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then there's Valen has questions about her father or about her parents, and they kind of hash some things out. And I didn't even put down the details of all that because honestly, I started to get kind of frustrated and tired of all the constant hashing out who her parents were and is she this, is she that, you know. But yes,
but
so
I
there
did.
were some.
Yeah, but Kieran brings up the thought again. What if those aren't her parents?
Yep.
But at least one has to be full-blooded Atlantean.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I'm on still, like I said, stolen baby watch. So I mean, I know you're annoyed with it, but I'm gonna figure it out.
I got tired of trying to figuring it out.
Me and Kieran are like, bitch, get this through your head. Those ain't your parents. So chapter 20 then.
Mm-hmm.
So now we're having I believe this is the next morning. We're having a homework trio with Daddy Jasper. He's helping the kids with their homework from Kieran's old school workbooks. But we start, looking up about the Grims, and that's how we learn that they're these things that basically can be summoned with the dirt or whatever. And he says, in our realm. And she's like, wait, what? They're not supposed to be in our realm? What do you mean realm? And then so we have that whole conversation about the different realms.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, yes, sweet. Like, this is on paper. Like, and I, of course, I go to my map and I go look that up.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, so the Grims are not alive. They've never been alive. So they're not like the Craven.
No.
They are summoned from dirt and magic to serve a purpose. And then, like I said, so we talked about the realms. We have the realm, which is Elysium. Elysium, sure, which is the land of the gods. And then we have the Shadowlands, where the abyss is located and how the veil is accessed.
Yep.
So, did you look at the map? Because
I did briefly.
Because I needed to see this. So it's like the veil is like what goes around it, because it's not on this map. I had to find it on another map. But the veil is like what goes around everything. And then and then there's Elysium is this gigantic thing that's over here. And then you also have so there's Elysium, which is on the Atlantean side. But if you go look south of the Carcedonia, which is on the Solus side, it has it's spelled different, but to me it would be the same thing. It's Elysium Peaks. But it's like Elysium Peaks.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. And it's like, I don't know. It's just, I don't know. And so I'm like, is there different gods? Because you know how like that's kind of like the big thing. Like they're the Atlanteans are like, no, our gods are not gone, or they're not gone, they're just sleeping. They're not like working actively day to day. You know what I mean? And then the Solus people are like, no, we have to please the gods and everything like that. What if there's different sets of gods?
Maybe.
Was kind of like my thought.
Okay.
But yeah, that's how I like stumbled into this here and on this thought. So I'm just keeping it in mind. And then so yeah, so we just talked about that. But so on that though, we learned that Niktos has a consort.
Yep.
And we don't know of the person's name.
But so we know pretty confirmed now that Poppy is descended from Niktos.
Yeah.
Like pretty closely. And then they're like, well, he Niktos had a consort and no one knows the name. And then there is a one of the pictures of Niktos is him with two, is it like mountain cats basically at his
Yeah,
feet?
they see that when they're in the library
Mm-hmm.
later. Yeah,
Yes.
there's two mountain cats at her feet. Or at his
Wh-
feet. I'm so sorry. Yeah.
yeah, which is supposed to like be his children. So maybe
Represent his
so,
children because nobody
huh?
knows they're male or female. But only one of the children had a child,
That we know of.
which would mean Malik is the only descended,
Yes.
or the only, I don't mean
The only
descended,
deity.
the only, yeah, of Nikos.
Yeah, the only yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Hmm. Which would make sense for my theory that I'm just going to say it now is, well, I think we kind of knew this. Like, that's kind of what Alistair said, is that they were going around and killing all the children that Malik had
Yeah.
because he was just like fucking around and not finding out until
Yeah,
later.
exactly.
Um, yeah, I don't
See, but that part confused me a little bit because also like here we learn like they're like, "Oh yeah, Niktos had a consort." And then she's like, "Really?" And they're like, "Yeah, that's how he had so many children." But it started from the two, I guess, maybe. That part was fuzzy to me.
know. Okay. Yeah,
I
we'll
don't
have to
know.
look. Yeah, we'll have to circle back.
Yep.
Um, I think that's all I had for that one.
Yeah, me too.
Okay. Chapter 21. So we are still speaking with Jasper, right?
Uh-huh.
So only gods can get through the Nikos Mountains to the mists, or those
Or
with
those
god
that have
blood.
the god's
Yeah,
blood, yeah. Mm-hmm.
through these mists because the mists won't let anybody through, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he's like, but who knows? And it's Castiel's parents and Jasper and a few other people.
And
And
Alistair knew.
Alistair knew. And I was like, Ilona,
I know.
I still think she's bad.
I know.
And this is where I'm putting it in right here. This is where I've officially decided I think Ilona is bad.
Okay.
And it sucks, but I think she's bad. And
Yeah, because
then
they're like that you only can get there. There's ways to get there, but you have to know how.
uh-huh.
And the way he said it, Cass is like, "Wait, do you know how?" And he's like, "Well, yeah, and your parents, and you'd be surprised how many
Uh-huh.
lives have been lost in keeping this knowledge safe."
Yep. Yeah. And
And then I think
then
this is where he's like, who else knows? So it was the king, the queen, Alistair knows, Jasper knows, and then he's like, and the crown council knows.
yeah.
And that's where Poppy's like, well, who's on the crown council? And then I'll let you take this part.
Yeah. So he says his other name, and I don't even care. I'm not even gonna try.
There's a
But
bunch of
when I
them,
first
but
seen the first other name, it was whatever, and I was like, oh my God. And then I kept reading, and it goes, what's the last name? And he goes, Collins, I think. And I went, God
uh-huh.
damn it. And I like
Yep.
freaked the fuck out.
Wilhelmina
Yeah, that.
Collins.
I wasn't
Uh-huh.
even gonna try that one, but
Yep.
yeah, that. I was like, yes. And she is of the changeling bloodline, and she is at
Uh-huh.
least 2,000 years old.
Yes. Yeah.
She is part of the elders of Atlantia, which is this council
Mm-hmm.
that can rule alongside the king and queen or help them with whatever, right? And then also, so we find out because Castiel's like, okay, tell me, bitch, how do we do this?
Mm-hmm.
And the tunnel system under the mountains
Yep.
goes to the land of clouds.
Yep. You called it. You called that they were going to be used somehow.
And they're going to be used somehow. They're important. I knew it.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I got on that one.
Well, and we also learned too that so yeah, the way that we come to know that like the tunnels are a kind of secret way to get in there is because you cannot get there by land or sea because there's the ether that surrounds it. Um, and Poppy's like, wait, so the Stroud Sea, which is like their ocean, basically. She's like, it does travel to the coast of Atlantia, and he's like, yeah. He says, but the mist makes it appear that the Skotos Mountains stretch all the way across the realm. So nobody really knows that you can get to Elysium by sea. They all think it's landlocked, basically. Yeah, because it's how it looks. But nope, you can get there from the tunnels.
Yeah. Chapter 22. After a fuck ton of pointless talking,
There was a lot. Yeah, I didn't have much on this one.
Delano runs in and knocks on the door. There's a little child that's been hurt, right? So she goes and runs there, and they get there, and it's not looking good, right? And basically the healer's like, yeah, there's nothing you can do for her or whatever. But she's like, I'm still gonna try. And she is able to basically bring this little girl back to life.
Yeah, that's exactly what she does.
Cass calls her a goddess, and basically everybody's witnessing it, and they are also now all kneeling down, and she recognizes this as like what they would do in the temples and stuff like that.
What the priests and priestesses would do in Solace.
Yeah, meaning basically they were in the presence of a god or a goddess.
Yeah.
And so that kind of like took her back a little bit, but that's basically what happened.
Oh wait, no, that's all I had for that one. Continue.
Okay.
Sorry.
I'm about to say that's basically what happened in that one.
Yeah.
23. I kind of rolled into it, but yeah, so they're all like bowing and stuff like that, like as if they were in the presence of a god or goddess. And then the little girl says to her mom, she's like, yeah, I dreamed this lady was talking to me, and she said I always had the power in me. And then she's like, thinks back, like, you always had the power in you. And she's
I
like,
actually
thinks
have what the little girl said
you go for
directly
it.
from the book here.
Yeah.
So she says, there was a lady, Mama. The little girl snuggled closer to her mother. Her words were muffled, but what she said next was clear. She said, I always had the power in me. You always had the power in you? Those words were oddly familiar. It felt like I had heard them before, but I couldn't place them or remember who'd spoken them.
Yes. Was that what she couldn't remember when she was like basically, was it when she was dying or something like that?
Yeah, there's something. It's whatever this person says to her is the key to everything.
When she remembers talking to this goddess or whatever, and they talk to her, and then she just doesn't remember what they say. So I'm like, is that what she said?
I know.
Do we get a little bit of that's what happened?
I think so. I'm gonna say yes. I think so.
But like, okay, think about that. What does that mean? If she always had the power in her, it had nothing to do with the culling or where she was or being on Atlantean soil or whatever. It was just that she had to dig down deep and do it and find it.
Yeah. Well, because she talks about when she heals the little girl, because Cass is like, how'd you do that? She was dead. And she's like, well, it was different from with Beckett. Because I can't remember, I didn't write it down, but she like is basically saying, she chants over and over in her head, like, this is not gonna happen. You will live, basically. Yep. This is not happening. You will live, you will live, you will live. And then she does.
Yeah, because she was saying like she basically had to work for it this time, but like with Becca, she just touched it.
Exactly.
And so and so basically they've decided like you brought that little girl back to life, and only Niktos could do that.
Yeah.
So that's very interesting as well. And then they go have partner yoga and a sundress in the garden. That's all I got for you there. But then after that, we go to a museum because everybody loves a good museum. And like we were talking about, there's the what was it, a painting or something like that with
I had a little bit about that here. So yeah, there's a painting of Niktos with two large cats at his feet. Poppy innocently asks if those are cave cats. Cass and Karen say no, but then Poppy insists that they must be because they look just like the ones that she's seen before. And then they ask her, where in the world would you have seen one before? She says she saw one at the palace in Solace when she was younger. Her and Ian both saw it, and it was held in a cage. And then they both think that she's basically nuts, tell her that there's no way that could be true because they died out so long ago. But she insists that that is exactly what she saw. She says she remember how it like prowled in its cage, desperate, but she says it had a keen intelligence in its eyes.
So chapter 24.
Not a whole lot important in this one, but
they go to a woven wedding on the beach, and man, that's a party, and that's all I got to say about that.
There's a lot of PDA.
Yeah. I love how you actually put events that happen, but I got nothing for you.
Yeah, so okay, I put
Do you
they crash a
know there's
wedding.
just side note real quick, did you know that there's this ice cream shop down in Colorado Springs? It's called BJ's.
Oh no.
And I love going to BJ's. I'm just saying.
There's a little like old-timey diner in Lamar that is the same way. Like you go in and you use a phone on the wall to order your food. It's like at every
Fantastic.
booth, and it's called BJ's.
See? BJ's. Love it. Okay, chapter 25. If you can't figure out what we were trying to say there,
Right?
chapter 25, we get to meet Kieran's
Yes,
mama.
we finally meet her.
Yes. And she might also be a seer,
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
which is I love all of this.
Mm-hmm.
But our happy little trio gets to this after we're leaving mama, right? We're gonna go meet the parents, and we have 4 Wolven, and one of them is Lyra from the bonfire.
Yes.
She also likes to get ice cream at BJ's. Um that was horrible, but I don't
No,
care.
that's great.
And like before we're like meeting the parents, right? She notices the banner and about how what is it? The sword and the arrow aren't equal or whatever.
Right. Mm-hmm. Because the
And this
arrow
is
represents the queen and the sword up represents the king.
yeah, and this is the same banner since Malik was around. And so she just believes that the king and queen should be equals, which comes into later why she asks
Which
to change
every
the banner.
royal couple or ruling whoever's ruling has the power to change the crest. Like they have to keep the elements of it, but they can change it up
Yep.
slightly. So
Yeah, so you
Malik
have to
had
have
it
that.
where the sword was greater than the arrow.
Yep. Yep. All right, chapter 26. It's time to meet the in-laws. What do you have to say about that, Jess?
Yeah. So basically the biggest thing I pulled out of this chapter is so Queen Alona is talking about Poppy here, and she says how like she's just kind of in awe, and she's like, "You resemble him." She's like, "Who?"
Uh-huh.
She's like, "Malik, you look so much like him." And then Poppy's kind of confused because she's like, she remembers that it's her mother, her, who she knows is her mother, um, that she mostly takes after with the red hair. But they're like, no, Malik also had red hair, and maybe not quite as much as yours, but he had the red hair. And I don't remember if they said he had the green eyes too. I don't remember that part.
I don't remember either.
But the hair was a big part. And she's like, yeah, you look just like Malik. Um, and then that's when it all kind of like really comes out with between Queen Alona and King Valen. They're telling her about her because she's like, "What am I? Where did I come from?" And they're like, "Your parents could not have been who you think that they were." Um,
Yeah.
but then they're like, "Maybe your mother, yes, but there's no way your father that you knew as your father is actually your birth father because Malik 100% was your father. Like he
Mm-hmm.
has to be." So that's all I kind of got out of that part. I think
Yeah.
we learn a little more in the next chapter.
Yeah, because it just kind of rolls into chapter 27. And this is
Yeah.
where I put, so she is a stolen baby. Maybe because these parents were not her parents.
Right. Right.
Maybe. So we're gonna find out. But so Alonia is like, she's drinking at this point. She's like, oh, buddy.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, she knows that it's not. She's like, she wonders how it's possible because she knows that she entombed Malik 400 years ago.
Yes.
So there's no way for, her to have been born 19 years ago, basically. Like it doesn't make
Right.
any sense. And she'd still be his, whatever. And Malik was Nito's grandson. So that makes her the great granddaughter of Nito's.
Mm-hmm.
But Malik was entombed in the blood forest.
Yep. Yep.
Ah. And
Yes.
then
And actually, Malik was Niktos' grandson, not great grandson. So
yeah, that's
it's
what I said.
I
Malik
thought you
was
said
Niktos' grandson.
Yeah.
That makes her the great granddaughter.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah. He
Yep.
was just grandson. She's great granddaughter because we're
Yes.
really good at family trees around here.
Yeah.
I don't know what I said. I knew what I meant, but
And then they learned too that like Malik, not Niktos, it was Malik, could actually bring people back to life the way that she did with the little girl.
yes. Uh-huh.
Which is another like, yep, he's gotta be your dad.
You got it somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so then basically we decide we're going on a walk with our mother-in-law because that's not
Yeah.
weird at all. And then she's basically like the queen Ileana, the blood queen, is the queen of blood and ash. That's what they call them, the crown of blood and ash or
That's
whatever.
what they called themselves right after the war. The Blood King and Queen, they called themselves the Queen and King of Blood
Oh,
and
see, I
Ash.
thought they called them the queen of blood and
No.
ash. Okay.
No, they stole it.
Oh, that's
And
right.
started
They
making it
stole
mean
it.
something else, which is why no one knows them by that title anymore because they won't use it because it's a symbol of the Atlanteans now.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Okay. Yeah. I must have just kept going. I was like, I've got things to do. This mother-in-law conversation is
Yeah.
boring. I have things to find out. But that's kind of all I had for that one. I don't know if you had anything different,
This is
but
kind of where Poppy is talking with Queen Alona and she learns a little bit more because she's just like, I don't understand. How can Malik be my father if he was entombed 400 years ago, all this stuff? And Alona's like, the only way that this could have happened is basically if the Ascended knew about Malik in the Blood Forest, raised him, basically bred him to her real mom, who also had to have been full Atlantean.
yeah.
And there's Poppy. And
Hmm.
then Cass also confirms that it could have been possible that there were other Atlanteans there in the palace that he never, like heard or saw. Like maybe he wasn't the only one when he was being held captive.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
maybe they did have a little experiment with that, which I don't know to what end, but I guess we'll find out. So yeah, so chapter 28, um this is actually in this chapter is where we learn from Queen Alona that when King Jalara and Queen Ileana began their rule, they referred to themselves as the King and Queen of Blood and Ash. Blood referring to the power in blood, and ash referring to what remains after destruction. And then the Atlanteans and the dissenters basically stole the title, and it became a symbol that they would rise and that they were not forgotten, which is why no one knows them by that title anymore. They won't
Yeah.
use it. Um, and then Queen Alona basically tells Poppy that if they go to war, which she says war's coming, like
War's coming.
it's
Yeah.
closer
Straight
than you
up.
even know.
Yeah.
She's like, we actually have armies set up and ready to go in the north. Like we are ready to roll
Yeah.
at this point. I mean, like we have days before we attack, basically.
Hmm.
Um, and so Poppy is kind of telling her vision for like, yeah, we want to end this peaceably, but if it doesn't happen, we're willing to go to war, but with the exception that we want to try to give those who want to try to be good a chance, basically, instead of just killing everybody. And she's like, no, that's not going to happen. We are going to
Yep.
kill every single one. The older ones of us who were around during the War of Two Kings, we remember too much, and we're not doing that again. We're not taking that chance. If they're ascended, they're dead. It doesn't matter if they could be good or not. They're gone. And they're
Yeah.
basically saying how they're willing to even sacrifice mortals in order to burn full cities and stuff like that in order to completely rid themselves of the ascended completely. And then she also tells um oh wait, I actually think I jumped forward to 29 here. Yeah.
Oh no, you go on ahead. Yeah.
Okay, so actually that conversation, okay, so we're gonna just kind of keep going here because that conversation actually happened in chapter 29. Her conversation with Queen Alona happened over the course of a couple chapters, apparently.
Yeah.
So yeah, so in chapter 29, that's where Queen Alona's like, we have armies ready to march. And then she tells her war's about to break out and only the queen and king can stop it.
Hmm.
Meaning she kind of, it seems like Queen Alona almost had a little secret meaning behind this. Like if Poppy and Cass take the crown within the next couple days, they can
They
actually
can stop
stop the
this.
war.
Yeah,
They
exactly. I
can
think so
they can
too.
do it the way they want to do it.
And this is like another reason why I was like, maybe she's bad. Like, what if she's like pushing them into this with
Mm.
her own agenda?
I'm still back and forth with her. I
I
don't
know,
know.
me too. I want to like her, but I don't know
I
that I
don't
do.
trust her. I definitely don't trust her. She's too old. She knows too many things. She's been around for too
Right?
long. Um,
You already showed me with Alistair that just the cute little old people are not cute little old people.
yeah.
What if Willa Collins is bad? I will be fucking pissed.
She's been around the longest, it sounds like
If
2000
our little
years.
like sex book
Mm-hmm.
friend is bad, I'm gonna be mad.
Yeah.
Okay. Um, basically kind of to end out chapter 29, we have Netta coming, or Vanetta. She comes
Yeah.
up into the garden and she's basically saying that
She's supposed to be in Spess's End and she's like just there all of a sudden.
yeah, and there's Ascended back at Spess's End, and
Mm-hmm.
it's Ian. And he's come to have an audience.
Yep.
And that's where we head into chapter 30.
Yep.
Alonia is freaking out. She's like, it's a trap.
Yep.
They don't care. They head on over there anyway.
Which
And that,
I can feel for Poppy in this situation. Like her goal has been to get to her brother. She doesn't know what's happened to him, all these things. And so that would be really hard to stay put when she
yeah,
hasn't
I
seen him
was
in so
kind of,
long.
but I think it's so interesting that it's not a trap,
I know.
but Alonia says it's got to be a trap, but it feels very trappish.
It does.
But also at the same time, I don't know, because she's like, what if one or both of you get captured or whatever, right? I'm like, that's what I've been freaking saying. One of them's gonna get
Mm-hmm.
captured at some point.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm wondering if that's like what's gonna happen in the north. Or
Yeah.
they said all that so that they take their people out of the north and then they can trap them somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, but
Yeah. So they're trying to make this decision though to go or not go, and she's like, we're going, we're going. But then she does ask Netta, is he Vampire? Is Ian Vampire? Because it's been rumored that he is, but no confirmation. She says yes. And still Poppy's like, she just can't believe it. And Netta's like, look, we can sense it. We can sense if somebody has been turned, and yes, 100%, he has ascended, he is Vampire.
yeah.
Um,
And
and
like
then
in
she
this,
says,
like she
okay,
gets all um like all that emotion builds up again, remember? And she
yes.
starts calling all the Wolven again.
Yep.
And they're
Well,
like
and
ready to attack.
well, not quite yet, I don't
Yeah.
think.
That's
Because
at the like the
they're
towards
not
the end of this chapter.
they're not there yet. They're
That
not in
wasn't in
Spess's End
Spessa's
yet.
End.
Oh, okay.
Because it was Lyra and one of the other Wolven were like ready to attack,
Oh,
standing
you're
behind
right.
Castiel's
Yep, yep,
parents.
yep. You're very right.
Yeah.
But then this chapter ends with Netta being like, she's like, yeah, he's Vampire, and he has a message from the Blood Crowns that will, quote, keep the peace.
Supposedly.
Yeah.
Yep.
So then we go into chapter 31, unless you had more for 30.
No, that's all I had.
Okay.
So 31. All I have is they get there and bang. So you go ahead and you
Okay.
have chapter 31.
All right. So they take off and they get there way faster than they had expected because the Ascended can only come out at night. So they're like, we have to get
Yeah.
there before night. They were planning to be like they figured they'd only get there maybe an hour or two before nightfall, but they get there way faster because the
Yeah.
mist clears for Poppy. And so they're able
Uh-huh.
to just kind of travel quickly. Um and then there's some stuff going on with Poppy and Cass when they get there. They have some chance to rest, quote unquote.
Rest.
um in the midst of this little situation here that they've found themselves in, resting, they have a conversation about what Poppy's going to do when she sees Ian. Because
Mhm.
she's been mulling this over in her brain over and over. Like, I know Ian, I know he's a tender-hearted kind of person, and if he has been turned into this monster that has basically no control over what he's doing,
Yeah.
the bloodlust and all that, she's like, I'm going to kill him.
Yeah.
Because I feel like that would be the most merciful thing I could do for him.
Give him
And
peace.
Cass is like, promise me one thing, like if it gets to the point where you feel like you're going to lose control, stop. We'll take
Yeah.
care of that part another time, but unless you are 100% in control, you don't go forward with it. And so she makes him that promise in that moment, and then afterwards she's like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to keep it.
Right. Because they don't want the Ascended to know if they
Mm-hmm.
don't already. what she's got going on.
Exactly. That's why he's like, keep things hidden. If you're not in control,
Play it
just
cool,
please
dude.
stop.
Play it cool.
And then this chapter ends with nightfall comes, and here comes the Ascended. And then we go to chapter 32.
And it is Ian that comes out of the carriage.
Yep. He's basically taunting her, just like spewing all the lies. They've been so worried about her. They need her to come home so they can take care of her. He insists that Tawny and Malik are well cared for, and that the true queen, also he says like how the true queen, the Blood Queen, knows about the Atlantean armies in the north.
Up in the north.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when he says like the revenants or whatever would take them out if they try anything, right?
Yeah, because
And it's something that the Blood Queen created.
Because they have this little like argument back and forth where Poppy's like, you have no idea what you're getting yourselves into. Like, we're really strong, basically. She's kind of like flaunting. She's like, I don't actually know if that's true or not, but I'm bluffing. Right. And she's like, you have no idea. And then he's like, no, you have no idea what the queen has created. And then
That's right.
Cass is like, oh, what, more of these knights? We can take them. That's nothing. Like, we're not scared of your dumb royal knights or whatever. And he goes, no, the Revenant. And he says about the Revenant, because, yeah, Cass is like, oh, a bunch of knights, we're not worried. Ian says, no, not knights. He says, the Revenants are not like the knights. They are not ascended or mortal nor Atlantean. They're something far more unique than that. And that's all the info we get about whatever these Revenants are.
Yeah.
And then he also says how his little message is that the queen wants to meet with them at Oak Ambler to discuss peace in a fortnight.
Yep. Which is like what, 14 days?
Yeah, I don't know. I can never remember what a fortnight is.
I think it's
2 weeks.
Days.
Is it 2 weeks? Okay.
I think it's 14 days. So then he's like, before we leave, can we get, because I noticed this too though. Like he keeps like walking forward and keep like waving the knights back. He's like, I'm fine. Like, don't worry about it, kind of thing. And he keeps getting closer and closer. So he is getting away from them. And then he's like, can I get a hug? And then even the knights are like, what are you doing? Don't do this or whatever. And this is when she decides like she's not going to kill him or whatever. She's just gonna.
I don't think she decided that though until she was like in the hug. I mean, like all the way walking up towards him, she's like thinking this is gonna happen. I'm gonna do it.
Oh, I see. I thought she decided she didn't have.
She's got a major internal battle going on.
Okay, but anyway, yeah, she doesn't do it. We don't know when, but she decides she's not going to do it. And then as soon as it's there, the whisper is so like you can. Castile talks about it later, but it, like only Castile was able to hear. Like the knights shouldn't have been able to hear. It's so tiny. Poppy, listen to me, he whispered, and my eyes opened. I know the truth. Wake Nikos. Only his guards can stop the Blood Crown. Oh my God. And my thought was, can you imagine if this is where I cut this chapter chunk on accident?
I was thinking
I would have
supposed to be
my motherfucking mind.
Yes, I know. I was thinking
this is where we're supposed to be. And then I was like, oh, let's try to add like a couple more chapters to this chunk so that way we have like a shorter chunk for the last one of the book. And I was like, oh my God, I would have been so pissed off.
I know.
But since I didn't, let's go to, well, because more things happen. So let's keep going. Chapter 33.
She like really truly is like, you know what? I'm the only way this is going to go the way that I need it to go is if I take the crown. I'm the only one at this point who can
she's
stop
having this conversation at the bay with Castile. Like, but do you want this? And he's like, it's not really about what I want or whatever. And she's trying to get his opinion and stuff, which I appreciate too. But
yes, totally.
But yeah, so that's when they decide they're taking the crown. They're gonna wake Nikos. They're gonna kick some ass, take some names. Okay.
Yep. And then they go to bed.
Yeah, and then she has the dream.
Yep, she has this dream again, her nightmare about that night, and we get a couple more details. A
little bit more.
Her mom seemed to know about the dark man laced in shadows. Like she was speaking with him, and so while she's speaking with him, he says, "I'm sorry," and then her mom says, "So am I." And then the man reaches for Poppy in the cupboard right after that, and he says, "God's help me." And then her mom pulls out this black object that we were talking about last episode, this long, slender black object out of her boot, and she stabs this dark man. And then the nightmare ends with the creepy nursery rhyme again. And then we're woken up.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah.
but
like,
mom knew this dark man.
Right. And wasn't in like one of her earlier nightmares. I want to see. Oh, it's when she's on the mountain, right? And it's just her and Castile, and she's about to walk off the cliff, right? Remember, she's following the man in the shadows.
Yeah.
Before she goes off.
Yep. And it's like, and they keep mentioning that he's like the dark one, and then she keeps going back and forth, but she's like the dark one. Like Castile is the one who has held that title. But then they always talk about there's this other stories about how the dark one can control the Craven. And then Cass, when she asked him about it like books ago, he's like, I can't, no one can control them. They're mindless.
What if
beasts, basically?
What if Malik is like technically dead, but not? And he does control the Craven. And he is the Shadow Man. He is the Dark One. Because remember about how in like the first book, when one of like the ladies in wait or whatever, they were like, well, I heard the Dark One was a bald-headed, weird, creepy old guy or something like that. And the other one's like, no, I heard he's hot. What if he is this creepy old dude that was like partially dead and he is like a Craven, but like the creep. Oh, hold on. So what if the Craven, because they're like mindless, like bloodlusting things, and they supposedly are created
zombie vampires,
the zombies. But what if it's just kind of the same thing as like with these unseen or whatever?
Oh yeah.
What if it's like raising them from the dead?
Maybe.
I don't know. This is a weird thought that's literally just now coming in my head.
See, I go back and forth now after this little bit of the dream. I was going back and forth between, I did have the thought that maybe Malik maybe could be this dark one. But then I thought maybe
Malik is 100% the dark one.
You think so?
Yes.
I keep thinking, what if it's
I could have
actually
swore
Malik?
Like last time or the time before. Oh, Malik.
Like King Malik. What if it's King Malik?
Oh, that's what I'm saying. It's King Malik.
Okay, the names are far too similar.
Malik,
I thought you meant
I always
Malik. Oh, and I actually asked my mom about it, and Malik is actually Malik. Like his brother Malik is Malik, and then King Malek. It's just a simple. It's an I versus an E.
Okay, so Daddy Malik.
Yeah.
And Brother Malik. Okay.
Right. So you're talking about it being King Malik.
Yeah, is the
okay? I'm on that. Totally on that.
Because he was
totally
entombed in the Blood Force. Okay.
I'm totally on that train with you.
Yeah, and then like, yeah, what if he's like raising the Craven? Like, what if these people don't become Craven?
Maybe not.
What if they die, but they are raised from the bones and everything like that? I don't know if raised would be correct, but I don't know.
I'm sure we're gonna find out.
I know we're gonna eventually find out, but I'm getting pissed off because I can't figure it out. But that was just a thought that literally came into mind as we were going through this. But let's move on to our last chapter.
Our last chapter here, okay.
Before this goes on forever. So chapter 34, they are making their way to the capital
for the coronation.
And for coronation, so they can hit the road and head to see the gods, apparently.
Yes. Yep.
Grandpa Nikos.
Yep.
And I loved when they're at the inn and they're like looking at the menu and she's like, what's a casserole?
That part was great.
And I'm like, okay, so like my family's Midwestern, right? And I'm like, a casserole? Everybody knows what a casserole is. That's we have to have dinner ready in a little bit, and this is the ingredients I have in my pantry. I'm gonna put it all in a dish, and that is a casserole. That is dinner. And then I love how like everybody else is getting the joke about a meat casserole, but she's not, and it's
totally going over her head.
Freaking funny. And then we get to this town outside of the capital. And she's like, I want to ride my own horse in or whatever. And then so the stable hand's like, I've got this nice horse for you or whatever. She's like, what's its name? And he goes, Storm. Like, think about it. Like you ride on a storm in somewhere. Yes. Like, I was like, okay, that
part
was
was
kind of
cool.
tacky, but I liked it at the same time. Like, I can't figure out if I liked it or didn't like it. But so then we are stopped and attacked by the unseen.
Yep.
And she never gets a glimpse of the one that was living, right?
Yeah.
But they handle it, or they're about to be overtaken, basically. And she handles it. And then she decides to burn all the bodies to ash with silvery white flames.
Yep. She
So
decides to
that's
use
like
her powers.
more of her power, though. Because remember that it was just before, it was just
like she turned their emotions back in
turn
on
their
them.
emotions back on them,
But these
right?
guys
And
don't
so
have emotions to turn.
exactly. Well, there were some that were living, I think, that were talking to her.
There was.
Yeah. But yeah, and then, but yes, so the silvery white flames turning them to ash is different because that's a different separate set of powers.
Yep.
Anyway, that's all I've got for this. Because I think I was so like, oh, that's interesting, that I just kind of like spaced out the rest of it.
That's, I think, basically all I had too. I mean, she does feel for a moment, like when she's after she's destroyed everything, she feels like she's not going to be able to pull it back in, and then Cass kind of like brings her back to Earth, and she reins her powers back in, and doesn't become the monster that they all say she's going to become.
Yes.
And then the chapter just, it basically ends with her saying, like, he's like, I'm so glad you finally decided to use your powers. It's about time. And she's like, no one's going to take my crown from me. She's accepted it. This is who I am. This is what we're doing moving forward. No one's taking this from me. And I will do what I need to do to keep it.
Yeah. Yep.
So.
Oh man, I'm loving it. And I'm ready to go finish it.
Yeah, me too. I'm excited that we're going to get to actually finish it this time.
Yeah. We had definitely good conversation tonight, that's for sure. And definitely like more things to think about. Like I said, like that Shadow Man thought and the Blood Forest. I didn't think about all that until I started talking with you.
Yeah, there's I basically have already said all of my theories as we've gone along, so I don't really have anything else to add right now for what's
Mine
gonna
is
happen
like they
next,
all
but...
like just come out of nowhere sometimes, and then
yeah,
I get stuck on something and I'm either right or wrong.
That's how it goes.
But I will always think there's a stolen baby, apparently. And I'm still on that track, man. I know you're annoyed with it, trying to figure out what her parents are or who her parents are, but I'm not. I'm trying to figure out if she's stolen or not. I just need like the actual evidence that she was stolen.
I feel like we're going in circles. That's the thing that's irritating me. Like, okay, her parents aren't who they say we are. They're who they say they are. Like this
She
and that
knows
and the
that.
other
She has
thing.
accepted that when
Yeah,
she was
it's
talking
just
with Queen Alona.
over and over. I feel like it's the same story, slightly different words every time. Like, I'm just
That's
ready
true.
to find out the answers of who her freaking parents actually are and how it all happened.
If it is actually Malik. Or what if it's Nikos?
Directly.
Yeah, and she's one of the children. And well, that doesn't make any damn sense, but all right, we should close out.
Okay. All right, so that about wraps it up for tonight's discussions. We hope you are enjoying the series so far. We are first-time readers to the series, so we hope that you follow along with us. Or if you've already read the series, we hope that our discussions can be a refresher for you before Book 6 comes out in September.
Make sure to join us on Facebook and Instagram for more fun and conversations, as well as our club on the Fable app, where you can discuss with us spoiler-free chapter by chapter. Next episode, we'll be discussing The Crown of Gilded Bones by Jennifer Armentrout, chapters 35 through the end of the book.
If you're enjoying reading along with us or just enjoying our conversations and theories, be sure to like this video and hit that subscribe button on your way out.
And buddy reading with any book with Book Besties is so much fun.
So make sure to share our podcast with your book besties. And if you don't have any book besties,
then consider yourself one of ours. And until next time, fill those drinks with ice.
And your books with spice.
Bye.
Bye.